Hello. Someone just informed me that one of my videos can no longer be seen in the UK. The reason? It's been flagged to YouTube as defamatory. Now, when an allegation of defamation on YouTube is made, YouTube contact the content creator about it. I received no such email from them, so I have no idea when this was done. It could have been yesterday, last week, last month even. I must stress though that until then, that video had been live for well over a year. As I had no idea this had happened, I have no way to appeal the decision or to contact YouTube directly for that matter. I looked and I looked, but for a social media platform, they really don't want you to talk to them. So since YouTube have gone against their own process by failing to inform me that they'd stopped the UK from seeing my video, and since the information contained within it isn't defamatory but factual and backed with evidence, I'm putting the video up again so the people of Great Britain can once again see the fraudulent acts of Jonathan Price, human rights barrister for Doughty Street Chambers. Next time, if you have a problem with the facts I publish, contact me first, as per the pre-action protocol. As Johnny's a lawyer, you'd think he or whoever else did this on his behalf would know that. Enjoy.
Hello and welcome back. Jonathan Price is the barrister from Doughty Street Chambers who defended Andy Lewis of the Quackometer and Melanie Byng in case 3SA 991 and subsequent appeals. Since he won, he must have done a remarkable job at showing that these two were totally innocent, right? Hardly. Price resorted to deceitful and fraudulent tactics in order to prove their innocence. He intentionally lied in witness statements, which are supposed to be statements of truth. He openly lied in court. He changed the chronology of events. He even deliberately altered what we had written in order to purposefully take it out of context and insinuate an extreme meaning that had never been part of our article. And he also allowed his clients to breach a court order that would have supplied further damning evidence against them. He even argued that an admission in a private document by his client to having lied was the same as her going on the stand and denying having said that lie. As another barrister, James Turner QC, said, if the barrister knows that it's a lie, it would be serious professional misconduct to put it as a positive case. Serious professional misconduct is already a damning infraction for a barrister, so why do I insist Price is being fraudulent as well? To be clear, and before a judge casually changes the meaning of an obvious word, as Seys-Llewellyn so clearly did in our case, I base this statement on the ordinary definition of the word fraud, namely, the wrongful or criminal deception intended to result in financial or personal gain. But don't barristers get paid regardless of whether they win or lose? Well, not always. Although highly unusual for a barrister to do so, Price took this case on a no-win, no-fee basis, otherwise known in the UK as a conditional fee agreement or CFA. This means if he lost, he'd get nothing, but if he won, he'd get double his fee. Now, I can't pretend to know what went on in his head when he saw his client's disclosure and realized that everything we had said about them was true, that although they pretend to be humanists and skeptics solely focus on evidence in public, in the background they smear people, perpetuate disability abuse, mental health smearing, stalking and harassment, all in order to ostracize those they don't like, portray them as dangerous and to be avoided, and to dominate social discourse. If he went with the truth, he'd lose. His client's course of conduct and those of their supporters like Diana Winters, Alicia Hamburg and Dr. David Colquhoun, amongst many others, would have been clearly exposed, and he wouldn't get paid. So he decided to go with lying. If his deception worked, the end result would be financial gain for himself and his chambers. It did. This is fraudulent. But what about Doughty Street Chambers, his place of work? It claims to fight for civil liberties and human rights. It even recently won an important case against the British government in defense of people with mental health impairments. So you'd think, if they were made aware of such a fraudulent behavior and serious professional misconduct done in order to defend disability abuse, they'd at least want to know more, check the facts, and possibly do something about it. They don't. Only one of them, Kirsty Brimlow, has ever responded to me, but her response was, I suggest you stop further defamatory tweets. This human rights barrister is telling me exposing the truth is defamatory. It's likely most, if not all, of Doughty Street's barristers who are on social media have muted me by now. Some, like Miss Yoshida and Miss Gallagher, have blocked me on Twitter, although Miss Gallagher recently unblocked me because I guess muting someone is a better and more covert way of shutting someone out. I'd love to see the memos circulated about my family in that chambers. What would it take for supposed human rights barristers to shun a person? Not even Stephen Powell's, the head of Doughty Street International, will respond to what is clearly, at the very least, an extremely serious breach of the barrister's code of conduct. Well, maybe it's not so serious. I mean, especially when you get half the proceeds of a house in payment for your deception. The other half went to Price's partner in crime, the solicitor ironically referred to as a free speech hero, Robert Dugans of Bryan Cave. I wonder if human rights lawyer Helena Kennedy, famed for defending women from oppression, is at all concerned that the chambers she set up is responsible through the lies and deceit of one of its barristers for stealing the home of 3 young girls and their physically disabled mum. I'd like to remind all these so-called defenders of human rights and civil liberties who continue to ignore this of a quote by Dr. John Raymond Baker, which I'm sure they're already familiar with. To see a wrong and not to expose it is to become a silent partner to its continuance. And the one by Archbishop Desmond Tutu. If you are neutral in situations of injustice, you have chosen the side of the oppressor. Your silence in this matter makes you complicit in Price's deceitful and fraudulent actions. Is this really the look you're going after? Thank you for watching. Don't forget to like and subscribe, and I'll see you next time.